guys, welcome once again. Beautiful morning once again in your favorite city, Dar es Salaam. And this is Alfred once again for Wakati Avenue. I hope you guys have woken up well or have slept well, and let me welcome you. Anyway, today as we approach this day, I'm going to talk about the difference and why, when and how or why seduction should be used, or conviction should be used. There are two sets of rules. Okay, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos teaching men how to seduce, right? Seduction and all that. Let's start with that part, right? Now, seduction, there's nothing wrong with seducing and all, but in my take, right, I think seduction should be mainly left to women. Why is this? Because women, I guess, they are natural seducers. Not that I guess that it's a fact. They're natural at seducing people so that they can easily get what they want or what they need, or just try and get people to understand them and all that, you see. So that's the whole point of Mother Nature probably giving women that ability to seduce. On the contrary, for us men, we are given a much more, our gift lies more on conviction, convincing people. We have the ability to convince people, and this is why I'm actually making these videos. We should concentrate more on honing that ability to convince people into your cause, convince people into whatever business or whatever you're trying to create, right? And not really seduce. Yes, there are a few men out there who have that ability to seduce, but I think most of the time it's a natural thing, right? Or maybe because of the environment they've grown into, it helps them somehow to be much more seductive. But a lot of the time, or more often than not, seduction is really a realm of women. It should be left to women, because once a man has that ability to convince, right, you have that conviction power, right, naturally you will seduce. But if you concentrate only in the seduction part of that, trying to garner people into your into your cause, right? If all you're doing is the seduction part, then what will happen is that the people who you really want to convince to come and really play a big part into your cause, I really doubt that they'll fully support you in that way, because if it's business related, I don't really think you need to seduce them, your clients or whatever. You have to convince them. So with that said, what is conviction? Conviction in the manner of what we are supposed to do, right? Conviction, first of all, let's say what I'm trying to tell you is that you're supposed to convince yourself first, right, into your cause. The first person you're supposed to convince is yourself, who and what you are trying to do, and who you are, right? That's the first, you are your first client. Once you know that you can convince yourself, right, into maybe buying whatever you're doing, buying into your cause, trying to create whatever you are doing, then I guess it will spread, and to be much easier to convince others into that cause, into your business. So that's the first, and that's the main reason that you have to use that conviction power that you created or you have. And if you do not have it, you have to really work on that power to convince people. But remember, first of all, you have to convince yourself first before you can convince others, right? So the conviction power will naturally, as you create yourself and then you do the necessary work of whatever business you're doing, then at the same time you're trying to convince others, right? The more you convince yourself, the more you convince others. As long as the cause of yours is noble, it's something that is it's dealt in reality, right? And naturally you'll be seductive. Why? Because a man who can easily convince a mass of people into his cause, naturally that man becomes seductive. I don't know if there's a science to that, but that's what I've observed. Let's say that, right? As for women, just like I was saying, for women, it's the seductive part, right? They do not need to convince you. All they have to do is be seductive, right? But let me also tell you that not all women have that ability to seduce, just like not all men have that ability to convict, to convince you to their cause. Just the same will go for women won't have that ability. But those women also will have that ability to convince, and that conviction power, they will have that. We'll take an example of maybe Hillary Clinton, right? In my opinion, and I'm sure opinions of many men out there, she's not that much seductive. She's not your typical seductive someone who you think she can seduce you. I don't know. That's how I feel. Maybe there's some people who think she's sexy and all that, and seductive and all that, maybe. But to me, I think she's more of she has more of an ability of convincing, and that's why she even ventured into politics, maybe, because in politics you really have to be that kind of person who can convince masses, arouse them with your conviction, arouse them emotionally, so that they give you votes, that's your cause, your votes, their votes, rather, the voters' votes, to vote for you, you need to convince them. And unfortunately or fortunately for America, she was not able to convince them to vote for her. But I guess you know what I'm talking about, and that's just an example I'm giving, that the conviction power is much more geared towards men. And I gave an example of Hillary Clinton because she leans more towards she kind of has this masculine trait. So if a woman has more masculine traits, right, she'll have to use much more of masculine powers so that people come to her cause, So that's why, and this is an example that I gave of Hillary Clinton, that because she has this masculine trait, right? So she had to use this particular masculine power so that she can try and convince. Otherwise, if she was sexy and all, I'm sure she could have used that, and people would have voted for her, and probably America could have had first woman as a president, because she could have been sexy and probably convinced you guys to vote for her. But I guess you know what I'm talking about when I hope you understand what I'm talking about. But the whole gist of this whole video was to show you guys that concentrate more on convincing. The conviction power is very powerful. It's something that will help you towards your goals, towards your mission, towards your cause. No need to be sexy, no need to be whole seductive. Leave that to James Bond and all those guys. But for you, as a masculine man, as someone who is really trying to go up and be a high value man, concentrate on that. Obviously, there should be an element of seduction that you should know, and I'd suggest you also read Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction, right? Just to have that element. It's very good to have both, that element. But that element should not lean to a lot towards the seduction part. You're a man, you have to be convincing. You have to have that convincing power as a man. Leave the seduction to women, unless your cause or your mission is really geared towards seducing maybe women or seducing men, whatever. And that's what brings you that's what brings you your bread and butter, by seducing basically, right? If that's it, yeah. But as far as if you are going to try and bring mostly men into your cause, mostly powerful people into your cause, concentrate on the conviction power, convince them that, hey, this is what I'm going to do while you're doing it. Actually, you can't convince. It's not easy to convince someone of anything if you're not doing it. If you're not actually doing what you're supposed to do, it's not. It will show. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do, right, the work that you're doing, people will actually see. This somehow you just cannot go. You cannot go past that. You cannot. If you're working towards your goals, that will show. I mean, there will always be some sort of proof. You'll have that confidence that I'm doing this. Even the way you present yourself, that in itself is confidence, and confidence is a part of conviction power, and you'll be convincing people with your confidence. And obviously, there are those who are con men, right? Who only have that confidence, but it's a false confidence. Those you'll get them in both a spectrum of seduction and convincing, right? And convincing power. There are also people who use the seduction power rather to get what they want, but they're also conning people, right? Same with women. Women will seduce you only to maybe go on a date, with you, so you can pay for her meal. Women will probably seduce you so you can pay their bills. So it's just the same. It's just the same thing, different spectrum. But all in all, it does not mean that you should not work on what you're supposed to do. I'd say roughly at least be much more 70 or to 80% convincing, then the rest maybe 20 to 15% seductive. If you're going to go and really create that persona that you want, that masculine persona, right? I'm not saying you should throw away the whole seduction thing. Keep on learning on that. Learn about it. Numerous of videos on it on YouTube. There are books on it. Just like I mentioned the book on of Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction. One of the best books. You can just simply read, listen to the audio rather. It's good. It will help. Then after that, work on your conviction powers, work on your presentations, work on your confidence, and then work on your work. Do the work. There's no way away from that. You can't dodge that. Yeah. Anyway, that was a quick one. No, it wasn't just 13 minutes, but I hope that one was a bit much more understandable. And thank you guys for listening. This has been your boy Alfred for Wakati Avenue. More knowledge to you guys, and